every day, I get into these lives, I get into these spaces, and I start talking to men, right? And something that's really common when you talk to men is when you corner men, when you clock men, when you expose men, online especially, right? Specifically, I would say, they typically respond with something like, "You don't know me. You don't really know me. You don't know me. How you know that? You don't know me. You don't know me." Right? Somebody says something misogynistic, you say, "Oh, you're misogynistic." They go, "You don't know me. I don't hate women." And you're like, "But okay, like, but you just said something misogynistic though. So like, what do you want me to say?" You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, you're misogynistic. I don't. Do I know the extent of your misogyny? No, but I can deduce from this conversation that you are misogynistic. The reason why men do that though is very interesting, right? And this video right here, this woman is kind of like trying to get to the bottom of like why men are doing this, and she tells a few like interesting uh anecdotal, anecdotals about like what this looks like. And it's not exactly the same thing, but it's in the same vein, but this is what I thought about when I watched this video.
I'm really struggling to understand men's relationship to the word stranger. And by struggle, I mean I don't materially give a fuck, but due to conditions outside of my control, such as existing within society and men seeing that as an invitation to listen to them speak, this issue that they have with the word stranger has become like a kaniki dink in my brain and given me their confusion. There is a conversation being had about how to be safe when getting to know a man, and for those of you who are not clear on it, you typically get to know a person when they are a stranger, so a stranger. And this guy was like, "This is just so sad. All you women think men are like this. All men require you to be careful when getting to know them." But in reality, there's just so many good guys out there. And in my head, I'm like, oh no, I said it out loud. I said, "Okay, miss, I'm not like other girls." You're establishing that you're not like other men, therefore there are men that need to be regarded this way. How the fuck am I supposed to know which man you are if you're a fucking stranger? Same thing, like in the comment section of one of my videos, this guy was like, "I'm offended that you would assume that I meant that." Who the fuck are you? I don't know you. That's the point. I don't fucking know you. Why would you be offended by someone not knowing you? You know we don't know each other and you're offended that I don't. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're telling me if you walked up to another man on the street and you're like, "Give me your bank account number and your social security number," and he was like, "No," you're like, "Oh, that's so offensive that you think that I'm somebody who would rob you." Why don't you understand the word stranger? It's not tricking me into thinking I know you. It's just making me think you're dumb.
This is interesting. Okay.
Seeing that as an invitation.
So let's go through this real quick. Let's get through this real quick. Let's get through this real quick. Right? All right. So
I'm really struggling to understand men's relationship to the word stranger. And by struggle, I mean I don't materially give a fuck, but due to conditions outside of my control, such as existing within society and men seeing that as an invitation to listen to them speak, this issue that they have with the word stranger has become like a kaniki dink in my brain and given me their confusion. There is a
now the reason why, so the same thing I was saying before, the reason why men don't want to be viewed as a stranger, right? In this case, in what she's talking about, this is early on in her relationship with this man, right? With this person, this man. He is trying to essentially get her to disarm herself as soon as possible so he can do whatever he wants to do with her, right? Whatever his plan is with her, he just wants to disarm her as quickly as possible and get in, right? So when I hear men say things like "you don't know me," or they react viscerally to being called a stranger by a woman, this is all the same thing to me, right? When the woman is saying that to us, how men are interpreting that is that you're essentially calling us out, right? So women are calling us out, and men don't we don't want to have to deal with that, right? The spotlight is on us, and we're unwilling to accept the call out, right? Now there's a reason why we're not willing to accept it, right? Well, let's keep going.
a conversation being had about how to be safe when getting to know a man. And for those of you who are not clear on it, you typically get to know a person when they are a stranger, so a stranger. And this guy was like, this is just so sad. All you women think men are like this. All men require you to be careful when getting to know them. But in reality, there's just so many
Men know that most men are like this. Once again, that men, this is why everything men say is it contradicts one another. So in one instance, most men are safe, but in another instance, women need men for protection. You see what I'm saying? Like it's like, so men aren't safe. If men are so safe, then why do women need men for protection? If men are so safe, because men aren't safe, and you know that most men aren't safe. Most men are threats to women. That's the reality, right? And most men know that.
good guys out there. And in my head, I'm like, oh no, I said it out loud. I said, okay, miss, I'm not like other girls. You're establishing that you're not like other men. Therefore, there are men that need to be regarded this way. How the fuck am I supposed to know which man you are if you're a fucking stranger?
That's because that's not. He wants to use those men, right, to otherize himself, to distance himself from those men. He wants to use those men, the bad men, as like, look, I'm not bad like them. Like, I'm not like them. Trust me. But then when he does something problematic or odd or whatever the case may be, he also doesn't want you to call him out on that, right?
Same thing, like in the comment section of one of my videos, this guy was like, I'm offended that you would assume that I meant that. Who the fuck are you? I don't know you. That's the point. I don't fucking know you. Why would you be offended by someone not knowing you? You know we don't know you.
The reason why men don't like it when you call them out on this behavior is, men, well, let me just do this first before I get, okay. The reason why men don't like it is when men say, I'm sorry, not the reason they don't like it. When men say, I'm not a stranger, or I'm not like those guys, or you don't know me, or anything like that, in response to a woman clocking they shit, is to them, it gives them the opportunity of a do-over, right? Because it's gaslighting pretty much. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to get the woman to be like, oh, I wasn't saying that. I wasn't trying to call you out. You know what I mean? Or whatever, right? In hopes that the man, in hopes that he'll be able to get like to reset the clock now, right? Because like if you do that one time or two times, you know, it's easy to write that off as like, oh, I misinterpreted that, or that was just, you know what I mean? Like it was weird, but it's a blip. It wasn't like a red flag. And this is why vetting and all of that shit is stupid, because how do you separate like a red flag, like an actual red flag, from just like a problematic thought, an intrusive thought that maybe escaped somebody's mouth or something like that, or just a Freudian slip, like whatever? How do you separate the two or the three or the, you know what I mean, or whatever? How many chances, how many examples of that do you need before you go, okay, that's a problem? Nobody knows, right? But when a man reacts like that to a woman, what he's saying is like, oh, don't look at me, like he's trying to hide himself from the call out, right? He wants a do-over. If a woman allows him the opportunity, right, to stick around, let's say, that's his do-over. He's like, all right, cool, I got a do-over. They it's like a mulligan, right? I don't know if you guys know what a mulligan is, but look it up if you don't. It's a mulligan. And when the problematic behavior is being clocked, right? But they want to be able to reset it, and so that they can get another chance to avoid doing something like that in the future, essentially, right? So men, when we do that, all we're going to do is mask. If a woman calls us out, and this may not even be like intentional all the time, it may not be that diabolical. I'm going to leave that door open, but it is. We are trained to be diabolical. We are conditioned to be diabolical, right? Doesn't make it any less diabolical to me. The effects of it, I should say. But essentially what's going to end up happening is she'll clock the problematic behavior. The man will go, oh, why are you lumping me in with all of these other bad men? I'm nothing like them. You know me. I'm not a stranger. You're saying I'm a stranger? You're calling me a misogynist? You don't even know me. And then a lot of times women will go, oh no, that's not, I didn't wait. I was just my fault. You know what? My fault. I totally misunderstood what you were saying. And man goes, thank you for understanding. I get it. I apologize that you took it that way, gaslighting, but I didn't mean it like that. Okay, cool. And then they they take that into consideration. They clock it and they go, okay, cool. So moving forward, they don't like that type of rhetoric. They don't like that type of behavior. And now the man understands that he cannot act like that, in front of that woman. Doesn't mean that he doesn't have the same thoughts. Doesn't mean that he doesn't feel the same way. He just won't show her that side of him, right? That's the whole goal of doing that is to get another chance with the woman so that he can continue to manipulate her or whatever he wants to do with her, right?
They also don't seem to think there's anything meaningful about you getting to know them. I don't have the language for this because this doesn't make sense to me, but it's almost like they think once you like them or you're interested in them, that's it. Case in point, there was someone that I was getting to know. I had only known him 2 whole weeks. And he made a joke that was kind of racist. And I was like, whoa, yikes, hold on. And then he tried to explain his way out of it and was like, oh no, I wasn't even thinking about it like that. Oh my God, you thought it was racist? Do you think I'm a bad person? I don't know if you're a bad person.
He's like, oh no, you figure me out. I'm a bad person. But instead of saying that, he's like, do you think I'm a bad person? Oh damn, did she see me? And then, depending, and thank goodness for her, she's clocking the shit like, I don't fucking know. At the very least, I don't know. I'm definitely not going to say you're not a bad person because I don't know. And I can't say you're a good person. But all he wants is another chance. He just wants another chance. That's it. He's hoping for another chance.
I've known you for 2 weeks in a limited capacity. We talk via text message and phone. And we've only seen each other in person twice since we met. I don't know if you're a good person. I don't know how you meant that. I'm trying to figure out how the fuck you meant that. And he was like, wow, you're like judging me by my behavior? Like,
exactly. That's exactly how we react. Exactly.
You feel like you might like me less? What do you think dating is?
And that's the thing. Men don't date to get to know women. And this is what I said. I said that's what dating is meant for. Dating is meant to get to know women. I'm sorry. Dating should be to get to know people. But men use dating as a tool to sleep with women. They don't use it as a tool to get to know women. That's, they want to know how to sleep with women. That's what a date is to most men. It's like, oh, we need to figure out what is the fastest way into her vagina. What is the fastest way into getting some head from her? Okay, go and take her on a date. Oh, yeah, we hear she say, yeah, okay, yeah. Fast forward to the end of the night. All right, hey, you're coming in? Yes, she's coming in. We're necking in the car. We're making out in the car. You know what I'm saying? I touch her breast. Oh, shit. Second base. Yes. That's all it is. That's, to most men, that's what dating is when we initially. And it doesn't matter. And here's the thing about it, man. Here's the shit that I hate when we be trying to act like we put women in a whole category and I can only sleep with her. I can only be friends. All that shit is dumb and it's fake. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. The thing that makes you like a woman or not like a woman or whatever is, to me, like, sadly, I don't know how to say this, but it's like, it's not like as if when a man sleeps with a woman, he's like, oh, I can't be with her, right? That's not what it is. What ends up happening is once a man sleeps with a woman, he doesn't need to put in as much energy or focus into her because he doesn't really care about, he's on to the next conquest. That's the best way to put it. He's on to the next conquest, right? He doesn't even know if he doesn't like this woman or likes this. He doesn't even know. He has no idea. But he's like, oh, I gotta move on. I got other things to do. And then sometimes women, because they like the guy, right? And most of the time, men have been lying to these women because they like the guy. They'll still, they'll accept less attention from the man, right? Because they like him, right? And they already slept with him. So they're already like somewhat committed. I think that's what a lot of women tell themselves. Like, I'm already somewhat committed to him. I've slept with him, right? They don't want to add another body, whatever the case may be. So she's like, oh, and if it was good enough, it's like, yeah, I mean, he was fun. You know what I mean? He slept with me. He wasn't disrespectful. They'll continue to sleep with him. But a man doesn't necessarily, at that point, he's not, after that point, for a lot of men, they're not necessarily trying to get to know the woman, and they never were, right? The only thing that changes that is when, for most men, is when there's like an ultimatum. You know what I'm saying? When he is going to lose access to the woman, then a lot of times that's when a man will change. And this is not me telling women like to give men ultimatums, because I think that that's horrible. That if you have to give a man an ultimatum for him to accept you, then I think that's, you know what I'm saying? I think that's it defeats itself. It defeats its own purpose. Like, you shouldn't, like, nobody should be with the person that does that, right? I'm just saying, like, I think why it happens and what is actually happening. I think men a lot of times just react to a woman like pulling away and them feeling like they're missing out on something. And then that's when they may realize, like, oh, I like her, or I have real feelings for her, or whatever. And then now they start to invest more time into, getting to know her more, being, whatever, getting to know her more, paying more attention to her, because she started to pull away. Oh man, I got to keep her on the hook. So you actually start to do things that draw her in, right? A lot of relationships are formed that way. I'm talking about from a male's perspective. A lot of relationships are formed that way. It's not like we are going out here thinking, oh, I want to be with this woman. I want, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the woman that I'm really like, oh man, I want to be with her. Like, that's not what's going on. I don't think a lot of times. I think a lot of titimes it's like, I want to sleep with her. I want to sleep with her. I want to sleep with her. I want to sleep. Okay, cool. I slept with her. I'm going to take my foot off the brake. Okay. She let me sleep with her 1 week. Oh, I slept with her. No, she's starting to pull away a little bit. Oh man, what's going on there? I got to keep her on the hook. Hey, you want to go out? And she's like, yeah. And you go out and you're like, well, she's not hitting me. Oh, well, you want to go out again? And you want to go. And in the midst of that, sometimes you start to grow, develop feelings, right? And the woman it's not a game to her, but it's a game to the man. You know what I'm saying? She's not playing the game. I think it's more just a natural reaction. You know what I'm saying? She slept with the dude. She thought he was nice. She had fun with him. Whole time he was just trying to sleep with her. He pulls away. I'm sorry. Yeah, he pulls away first. She doesn't, she may not even connect the dots at first. Then she's like, well, I mean, I guess that she may not even just like give it up, chalk it up to like, I don't like, he doesn't like me as much, like whatever. Whatever excuses he gives her, I got busy, like life's hard, whatever. And then she pulls away, and then he's like, wait a minute, I missed that. And the longer that you have this contact with a person, the greater the chances are that you may develop a relationship with this person. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like, I think a lot of relationships just kind of happen like that. Like, you want to call that organically, but I think they just happen organically. I don't, if a man and a woman, are dating multiple people around the same time, it's like, how else do you think it's going to happen? Especially for men who are trying to sleep with as many women as they possibly can. Right? Like, there's no way we're going into this thinking like, oh, this is going to be my future wife. Like, that's not what's going on. And a woman waiting 60 days or 90 days, like, none of that stuff matters, because that man, most of the men, what they'll do is they'll just sleep with a bunch of women while waiting 60 days. So it's not like he's missing out on anything. And yeah, he may get to know you and get to like you, but does that prove that he, you know what I'm saying? Like, did he prove himself to you? Like, probably not. But most women don't know. They don't know that he's sleeping with a bunch of women on the side or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that men need to, ultimately, we need to start taking these, I don't want to call them relationships, but you call them relationships, whatever. These relationships that we have with the women, we need to just start taking them more seriously. We need to start treating them with the respect that they deserve. And I'm talking about the relationships and the women. You know what I'm saying? Because we're constantly just trying to sleep with women all the fucking time. It's just always sex driven, sex driven, sex driven. Right. And that's how you keep running in, women keep running into these weird scenarios with men. It's like, what? You're calling me a stranger, or you don't know me, or, what I'm saying? Men react in this way because they're trying to manipulate the woman. Right. And then men don't ever really take the time to get to know the women. So you don't even know if you like women. You don't really know if you like the woman or not. That's what I think is happening so much. And all of these behaviors are driven by men. Like, this woman is just reacting to what men are doing to her. She's not the cause of any of this stuff. This is us. This is how men are acting to women, and women are reacting. So it's on us to change it if we want better outcomes.